Good morning and welcome to the Sunday service of Vedanta Society. Today's talk is Divine Love. Love is something that we all are aware of. Every living creature has this love experience, either giving love to someone or receiving love for someone. Love, in fact, is a gift of God. That love is divine. But what happens because of our impurities of our heart, we mix and make it as selfish and becomes human love. So let us now try to find out what true or divine love is, and how we can inculcate this love in our hearts. Divine love is true love. It is a love of God towards His creatures and also love of human beings towards God in true sense. When it is love for God, for God's sake, then it is divine love. When we love God, but we say we love God and we pray to Him, but we love, in fact, the things of the world. Lord, give me raise in my office. Lord, give me more money in my business. Then it ceases to be divine love, though you are praying to God and you are trying to get connected with the God. It becomes very human, impure love. So much of selfish. Well, the unselfish love can be divine love. So once one child was asked by a neighbor, whom do you like, your father or your mother? That's a common question we ask the child. Whom do you like more? To your father or mother? The child says, I like my father and I also like my mother, but I love ice cream. That is what we do. We like to pray to God, but we love something without God. Something not associated with divine. And that love becomes impure. There are some definitions of love given. What is the real love is? Love for God. That divine love, if it comes in our hearts, that love can go to human beings, to our relation, to everyone. But that has to grow in our hearts. What is love? Narada said in Bhakti Sutra, the love's definition is Tat Sukha Sukhitvam. Love gives us happiness. When we get love, when we give love. But what the real love is? Real love is to find joy in the joy of others. Doing everything looking forward for the happiness of other. All motive is the other person's happiness. Then it becomes divine love. Or true love. Mostly if we analyze our love, it's mostly self-centered. Bound by I and mine. I love my daughter because she's my daughter. I love my husband because he will be happy and take good care of me. Something related to myself. That ceases to be true love. Swami Vivekananda said, the true love is like a triangle, having 3 angles. 3 components should be there in true love. What are the 3 components? Love should make you fearless. If something comes between you and the object of your love, some danger comes, you become fearless. Love will make you fearless. And he gives a nice example of a lady, frail, weak, thin, who is afraid of a dog when it barks from far away. Just listens to the barking of the dog and runs away on the road. Then he said, that very lady, that very woman, if she goes with her child and finds not a dog but a tiger coming towards her, what she will do? She will not run away to save her life, but she will give her life to protect her child. Fearlessness comes. No fear of death or biting, nothing. That when that quality comes for someone, it is true love. That is the one angle of the triangle. Another is, love has to be selfless. There is nothing that I love you because when you, for example, our love for our children, we say it's very unselfish, just we don't want anything from the child. Really it seems so, but if we think deep and in our behavior, it is always because there is something we want to return from the child. Something we want our child to grow and get established, get good grades. That is also not that for the child we become happy. We become happy because my son or my daughter has got good grades. We want to glorify ourselves in the glory of my child. The child's happiness is not the aim. Aim becomes my pleasure. So there is no selflessness. When I grow old, at least my son or daughter will see when I am troubled. That sort of deep-rooted thoughts remain in our case. So that barter, I give you something, you give me something. I scratch my back, your back, you scratch my back. That is not true love. True love has to be selfless. No consideration. I don't want anything from you now or in future. Just it is my joy to give you love. I want your good. When it comes selflessness in love, it is divine love. Another thing, another angle of the triangle of love is changelessness. Love remains, if it is true, same forever. Today I love you because you listen to my words, and after 3 days something comes and I don't go with you, I don't talk with you. So that is not love. I think who attended the seminar by Swami Sridharanandaji, remember here. Once, he had, after he became a monk, brahmachari, he had a very good friend of his. So one Swami, very senior Swami, Holy Mother's disciple, Swami Jagadananda, told him that, you see, there is no, in human relationship, there is no true love. All is give and take relation. You give something to him, he gives something to you. Then he said, protested, Sridharanandaji, how can that be, Swami? I love my friend. We have very good friendship and we don't want anything from each other. We just go get along and we just like each other. Then Jagadanandaji said, you want to test whether it is true love, whether there is something give and take, whether there is some motive behind? Yes, Maharaj, I'm sure there is no motive in us. Then Sridharananda, what you do is, you don't listen to what he says for a few days. For about 1 week. If he says something, just oppose that. Because it's true love, there is no demand, there is no motive. So if he says, let us go to bathe in Ganga now, so say, no, I won't go now. You can go. Like that he starts. Whatever he says, just don't agree to his proposals. So next day it happens. He says, let's read now this Gita. He says, no, I don't want to read Gita now, I want to read Upanishad. Start. So let's go to meet that Swami. They said, no, I'm not in the mood, I will remain in home. So Sridharanandaji is doing now. Now everything what his friend proposed, Sridharanandaji as a brahmachari, he did not agree to it. Slowly their talking and proposing get reduced. Their moving together was reduced. And it didn't take 7 days, within 3 days, when Sridharanandaji looked this side, that friend looked another side. Talks stopped, friendship totally stopped. Then he went to Jagadanandaji and told about his experiment. Jagadanandaji had already said, go up to that state till that friendship doesn't break. Friendship is little there, and then again you can revive. And he said that, you see the human love. Then in the course of time what happened? Siddhartha said, but there should be some divine love in human beings also after all. If pure soul is there, if heart is pure, how can there not be divine love? So Swami Sridharananda was once taking class with Swami Jagadananda. He was a great scholar. So he called Sridharanandaji one day, come to me and I'll explain to you the thing what you want. So Sridharanandaji was busy that day and in the evening, and when he finished his work, it was already late night, almost midnight. And he went to see whether Swami Jagadananda is still waiting for him. And to his surprise, that senior monk was waiting for Jagadananda, for Sridharanandaji. Then he said, Swamiji, why are you waiting so long? He said, you will come to learn something, some scripture from me. It is already late so night. What made you wait? What made you sacrifice this thing? You don't want anything from me. Do you want anything? He said, no, I don't want anything from you. Then what made you love so much to this new brahmachari that you are sacrificing your rest? Tomorrow early morning you have to get up for prayer. You are waiting for this brahmachari. And Siddhartha said, Maharaj, this is divine love. It comes through a pure heart like yours. Another characteristic of divine love is divine love transcends sense plane. It is not bound to sense pleasure. Anything that is bound to sense pleasure is not divine love. It's just human love. And human love generally doesn't bring that joy, fullness. It will tumble one day. Like the love between Radha and Krishna or Krishna and gopis was the divine love. God sporting with devotees. That was divine love. There was no selfish motive and there was no sense pleasure. It had gone, their love, their relation had gone beyond sense plane. Swami Vivekananda said, to understand the story of Rasa Leela, love between Radha and Krishna. Tomorrow is Ras Purnima, 2nd November. So to understand Rasa Leela between Radha, Gopis and Krishna, one has to be completely free from lust. Only then you can understand. They had no lust. It was a love between God and devotee. It was not a love between boy and girl, young boy and young girl, human being. It was a pure divine love. The Radha's love for Krishna was so much, so pure, so intense. God himself was surprised and wanted to taste that love of the devotee. Sri Krishna wants to taste the love of Radha for himself. How much Radha is blissful, having this pure love for God. And Krishna, to taste that love, pure love of a devotee for God, takes birth as a human being. And he was Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They say God took birth as a human being to taste the love, true love of a devotee. So he loved Sri Krishna as Radha loved Sri Krishna. That was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Love between Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. How intense was that love? But there was no feeling for self-pleasure. at all. Not an iota of sense pleasure feeling was there. That becomes divine love. Divine love knows no rules. It transcends customs, rules. The story of Sabari. When we have to offer to God, we have to offer clean things, wash the fruits, and it has to be pure, like that thing. You have to wash your hands, put Ganga Jal. There are so many customs and traditions to offer to God. Because our love is not a divine. Our heart is not pure. We need to do that. But when heart becomes pure and devotee becomes like Sabari, she had to feed Rama in the forest with berries. And that berries, she wants to know whether it is sweet or sour. She doesn't want to give her Lord the sour berries. She was so excited by the presence of Rama. After so many, at the fag end of her life, the God has come to her place, her hut. And she had been waiting for God's visit throughout her life. Every movement of leaf, every footstep seemed as if whether Rama has come. Always she was alert. When Rama came, she was out of her bounds. Her love, her beautified heart now showed the love. Now what she does to give berry to Rama, she bites herself to taste whether it is sour or sweet. Whatever is sour, she throws away. If it is sweet, she gives to Rama. And Rama eats that. Lakshmana was sitting and he was getting angry. How this lady is treating the God? Lakshmana knew that Rama was God incarnate, his brother is God incarnate. And how she is giving something done with some teeth and tongue, with mouth? But Rama was accepting that. It knows no rules because Sabari's love was divine love. Once Krishna got headache and a lot of things were tried. He was in far away other place, not in Vrindavan. And he said, medicines were tried but headache was not going. Then Narada came and he saw Krishna a little morose and said, Sir, are you not feeling, Lord, are you not feeling well? He said, Yes, Narada, I am not feeling well and I am having terrible headache. When I tried medicines, it is not going. So then, Lord, how will it will go? Oh, if you can bring the dust of my devotee's feet and smear on my head, then it will go. Now, devotee's feet's dust has to be given. Narada was devotee par excellence. But he shuddered with the idea to put the dust of his own feet on Sri Krishna. He said, it will be very much sacrilege. How can I put my dust of my feet on the head of Sri Krishna? He shuddered. Then he said, let me go and try if someone could give this. So one after another, many devotees were tried, but no one could give the dust of feet to the Lord of their heart. They were all afraid of something bad may befall them. Then Narada goes to Vrindavan, to the gopis, and he says, gopis came when Narada they saw, and says, how is Krishna doing? Our Lord, how is now? He says, he is good, but he is having a problem, he is having terrible headache. He is having headache, how it will be cured? He says, oh, if some devotees could give dust of their feet, then it will be cured, Sri Krishna said. Is that so? But there is danger, Narada said. There is danger, it may be sacrilegious to give your devotees dust of feet to the Lord. Then Gopi said, doesn't matter, Lord's headache will go. Take the dust of our feet and put on his head. Let his headache go away. If in the process, if it is sacrilegious, if we have to go to hell, we are ready. That is divine love. No customs, traditions, rituals. Nothing is observed in divine love. Divine love is boundless. The love can be divine when it is beyond I and mine. I love my child so dearly. Once Swami Kripamayananda said to his mother, you see, mother, our love is all human. We always expect something, and it is limited. Your mother said, but how do you say that? My love for you is without any motive. I don't expect anything from you now or in future. My love for you is pure love. Then Buddheshanandaji said, Mother, that may be true, but do you love our neighbor's son as you love me? Then Mother said, no, that I cannot do. I love you most. Then he said, it is not true love, Mother, then it's not divine love. It is still human love. When our love becomes boundless and goes to everyone, then it becomes divine love. For example, Holy Mother's love. Swami Vishuddhananda used to call Holy Mother the mother without border. She doesn't have any binding. Gondi Bhangar Ma. As if we all are under a bound, within borders of motherhood. This much is my son, my child, my daughter, my nephew's son, or my leader's son. That much I will love. Not beyond that. We all have limitations. Holy Mother's love knew no bound. It was boundless. The example we already know. How she loved Amjad, that illiterate dacoit, living immoral life. And her love to him was as much as her love was for Swami Saradananda. She said, as Sharat is my son, so Amjad is also similarly equally my son. My love for these one highest Brahmagyani, most cultured, perfected person, one immoral dacoit. And her love for both of them is same, equal love. No bondage, no bound, unbounded love that Holy Mother used to have. How much? Sometimes, because she belonged to different faith, villagers at that time, they said, if they work for your building a house, you will have to pay fine. Holy Mother said, that won't bind me, that won't get me back. So call Amjad to work for my building, for my house, repair of my house. Amjad was called, village panchayat sat, and they said so much fine Holy Mother has to pay because she invited someone who was not good. Holy Mother paid the fine and gave, but she didn't stop her love for that person. Poor, illiterate, uneducated, her love was so unbound. She was never tired of loving anybody. What about Mother's love for Sri Ramakrishna? Her love for Sri Ramakrishna was divine. She didn't get anything material from Sri Ramakrishna while he was there. She didn't want anything from him. Once one gentleman wanted to give 10,000 rupees to Sri Ramakrishna. 10,000 rupees that time. Sri Ramakrishna said, I cannot keep, but finish. Holy Mother wants, you try her. Holy Mother said, no, I will not keep. No material benefit from Sri Ramakrishna. Even she could not be with her husband, who was always full of joy, giving joy to everyone who visited Sri Ramakrishna. Holy Mother used to live quite apart in a small room in Nahapad. She never claimed her right on her husband. She used to come once a day to give her food. Little talk. No claim on the love of her husband for herself. But love was unbounded. Sri Ramakrishna also loved Holy Mother very much. Holy Mother also loved them. It was all divine love. They met seldom during their time, but how much they had love for each other. Because Holy Mother's joy is within the joy of Sri Ramakrishna. How was the Sri Ramakrishna love? Now let us take the case of Sri Ramakrishna. So many people came to Sri Ramakrishna. Some came like Narendranath, adept in meditation from the very young age, from his very birth, Dhyana Siddha, pure, never impure thought crossed the mind of Narendranath. His love for him was great, we all know. But what about his love for other persons like Girish Ghosh, who was drunkard, who said, I have done so many sins in my life. I cannot count that. And he used to say about himself, I am such a great sinner, if I sit on the ground, 7 cubits down deep becomes impure by my just sitting there. To that person who is so impure thoughts, that person comes and how much he greets Sri Ramakrishna, how much he loves him. So once he came at night, sometimes 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, Sri Ramakrishna always had welcomed him. Once he came in drunkard state, and Sri Ramakrishna asked him there to go and bring Girish inside his room. And he said, Girish came fully drunk, and he was talking. He asked him there, go and bring wine. You might forward that in the carriage, then you will need after some time. Bring that. The pure being like Sri Ramakrishna, and just you see his love transcends everything. He knows how to make. That very Girish Ghosh, through his love, became a saintly Girish Ghosh later on. Once Girish Ghosh insulted Sri Ramakrishna like anything. He used very filthy language to Sri Ramakrishna on some pretext. And he was drunkard also that time. And everyone who was with Sri Ramakrishna said, you should never talk to that person. How much insulting one person can do to you? You are our Guru, you are our master. Whole world, the Calcutta praises you. And he has such bad words in his mouth, he could utter to you. Please break all connection with him. Don't allow him to come and don't talk with him. Next morning, Sri Ramakrishna says, can you call carriage? What for? I want to go to Girish Ghosh's house. No anger. For the love. Then he goes to Girish Ghosh. The effect of alcohol was gone, and he sees one carriage coming and Sri Ramakrishna coming there. Then he cries, prostrates at him and said, Lord, if you had not come, I would have not believed that you are God. Now nobody can take the faith that you are God. If you were a human being, you could not come. The words I used yesterday, the insult I committed yesterday, no other human being could forgive me. Only God can forgive us. That's what God's love for Girish Ghosh. Girish Ghosh once came in Kashipur. Sri Ramakrishna was very ill. He couldn't even turn himself. He was so ill. Cancer last stage. Very thin and lying on the bed. Girish Ghosh comes. His face beams with joy. It was hot summer day. And there was a small earthen jar put in the corner of the big room. Sri Ramakrishna himself drags himself to that corner and puts water on his hand to taste whether it will suit to Girish Ghosh who had come tired in the summer. And puts there in his heart, in his hand to taste. I said, no, it's not that cool, but we have no other thing. So I asked someone to pour in a glass and give to Girish Ghosh. Just his love was so powerful. That was the God's love, that was the divine love, God's love to human beings. One Swami Brahmananda's disciple and his sevak who used to attend him, attended, Swami Nirvananandaji, said to Swami Brahmanandaji, Maharaj, your love is so great. We are so full with your divine love that if it was not there, we would not be able to stay much. Only because of your unbounded love, then we are living here. Swami Brahmanandaji said, oh, you could feel my love? Then it has not risen to the highest degree. The love in the highest degree should not be able to be felt by the person who receives. You don't know that you are loved, but you are loved so much. No expression anywhere. That's what Raja Maharaj said. It is like God's love for us. God loves us so much, more than we love ourselves. God loves us so much. But ever God lets us know, unless we are very pure-minded, how many of us really feel how much God loves us? So God's love for us is just hidden, unmanifested, unshown, but it is extreme, and every moment it is pouring down on us. Swamiji's love for Thakur and Mother, that's also divine love. We know how much Swamiji loved Sri Ramakrishna. Whenever Naren came, all others would be on the side. And he used to talk with Naren and he used to be very happy. Sometimes others said, oh, when Naren comes, you give so much attention to him as if we all came in a flood tide. As if just floating we came here. You don't take care of us. They knew Sri Ramakrishna's love. But they found this attention, just in a joking way they said. But Sri Ramakrishna's attention and love for Naren was so great. It was exceptional loving. And that Narendranath, one day he comes, Sri Ramakrishna doesn't talk with him at all. Doesn't look at him. And this thing continues for about 1 month. Naren comes, he sits, Sri Ramakrishna was talking with something, if you were looking there, when Naren came, he was looking another side. Nothing happened before that. Just he ignored. Day after day. And Naren used coming. Swami Vivekananda used coming. After 1 month, Sri Ramakrishna turned to him and said, what makes you come here? I do not talk with you, neither I look at you. It was all he was tasting Narendranath. Then what brings you here? I don't pay attention that attention was suddenly stopped. Then Narendranath says, I don't come because you pay me attention. I come because I love you. That is the divine love. It wants nothing. It just is there. And that love is the greatest binding factor. Though it frees our soul fetters, but it binds and makes us together. How much was Swamiji's Sri Ramakrishna's love for Naren? Once Naren, at the end of Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual effort, you can say, trying to make Naren accept God with form, Mother Kali. He always believed God without form. And one day, something happens in his family, and finally he comes to believe that yes, God can take form. And he goes to Mother Kali and prays. Sri Ramakrishna was very happy that day. And Naren was also very emotional. And that day Naren comes and Sri Ramakrishna teaches him some song. And at one point he asks him to prepare a smoke. And Sri Ramakrishna was smoking from a small bubble. And he says, Narendranath, then what he did is, he smoked, putting fingers there. You have to put fingers on the hubble bubble. He was smoking, and he said, now you smoke. Narendranath also used to smoke. And he said, you smoke. Then he said, how can I smoke from your fingers? Please remove your fingers. He said, no, smoke. Then Narendranath, with all hesitation, he smoked. He took some puffs from that hubble bubble. Then Sri Ramakrishna took that hubble bubble with those fingers and was going to smoke from that very thing without washing his hand. Narendranath catches Sri Ramakrishna's hands and, what are you doing? Just I touched your fingers with my lips and without washing you are smoking from those very lips. Sri Ramakrishna says, are you and me separate? What a small-minded person you are. And he smokes from those very lips which were touched by Narendranath. No separation. That is divine love. Oneness, that is divine love. Sri Ramakrishna's unbounded love, infinite love to Narendranath. But when this love doesn't mean all indulgence, or whatever the beloved said, you have to accept that. Once Narendranath was asked by Sri Ramakrishna, what do you want? Ask, I'll give. He said, you please give me, I want to be in samadhi all the time, want to enjoy the bliss of samadhi. For him, the world had no meaning. It was not anything that was charming, things of the world. So the love for God has so much grown. He said, I want to remain in samadhi, but now and then I want to come and eat a little and again merge into samadhi. The bliss of God he wanted to taste. Any other guru would be so happy, he doesn't want anything of the world, and my disciple is the most suitable person, it is the perfect disciple of myself, only love of God he wants. But what Sri Ramakrishna said? What a small, mean-minded person you are. I thought you will be big like a banyan tree, under whose shade so many scarred souls will come and take rest, and with your contact and your words, they will get peace of mind, and leaving all those, you are saying you also want peace of mind and joy, bliss of God? That is not Vivekananda. Sri Ramakrishna didn't believe that. He said, you will have to work to give joy to the scarred soul, the tormented people of the world. That is what you are born. You are not born to enjoy the bliss of God yourself. You are born, your purpose of life is to distribute the joy of God's love to everyone. That is the purpose of your life. That's why you are here. So he didn't believe that. That's how. That was also good. For whom was the divine love? That divine love was for us. Through Narendranath, Sri Ramakrishna wanted to save that love to us, to the people who will come in future, and they will get the touch of God through Swami Vivekananda. Love knows no fear, just we told. When Sri Ramakrishna was being served with cancer, he had sore throat. There was a wound in the throat of the cancer. He used to eat something and something used to come out from the throat, something entered inside. Mostly it used to come out. And I took it was a sore throat, it was a disease. Their wound, whenever it came in, they used to collect on a pot, a small vessel. And with this gruel he used to eat. With the gruel was mixed pus and blood. Later it spread rumor among the young devotees who were serving Sri Ramakrishna that the disease is too much and it may be serving him, may be contagious. So that feelings really had spread among the devotees. There were a band of devotees serving. Sri Swami Vivekananda heard of this and he said, what a disease! If it contaminates us, what does that matter? Whom we are serving? And to show the love that he had for Sri Ramakrishna, which was more than the love for his own life. One day in front of all the devotees, he took that cup with gruel, with the pus and blood from Sri Ramakrishna's wound mixed in that, and drank that. To show that if it is contagious, I will die tomorrow. So, he just showed how much love he had, the love that goes beyond the love for our own life. You know the story of Sri Dharanandaji's love for Swami Shantanandaji. How he served, knowing that he had tuberculosis, in that time when there was no medicine for tuberculosis. And he said, I may die, doesn't matter, but I want to serve this child of Holy Mother. That was love at cruel. Swami Vivekananda's love for his brother disciple was also great. Swami Vivekananda's love for was everyone. Just I am telling some incident. How much he loved Swami Abhedananda. Abhedananda as a young monk didn't participate in the work of monastery and used to be very studious. And all other brother disciples complained, we work so hard, some goes for baking, some cooks, some does the tougher work. And one of our brother disciples is there, he remains in room and we have to give him food and does no work. Swami Vivekananda says, one of us, if he studies, what does it matter? Let him study. That is also for the Sangha. He was very good studious and tapasri. And he says, then other brothers protested, there are so many utensils to be cleaned. Who will do? He does nothing. Whatever utensils of the monastery is there or collect there, I will clean that. You don't have to do. But let Abhedananda study as he is doing now. Unbounded love. Of course, Swami Vivekananda had done clean. They shared that. Once he was going with his own disciple to Himalayas. And disciple Sarachandra Gupta got sick. He was not able to carry his own bag. And he had put his shoes in the bag. Swami Vivekananda said, you are sick now, we abandon our pilgrimage and we go back to the plains. And in the process he said, give me your luggage, I will carry your luggage. He carried his disciples' luggage along with disciples' shoes. Unbounded love. His love for his brother disciples was so much that, he read Swami Vivekananda, that thing about Swami Brahmananda, his love for Swami Brahmananda. He used to scold his brother disciples very much. But he used to love them very much. He used to say to his own disciples that I love you all so intensely, but I wish you all work so hard that you die working. That will give me a joy. But I love you intensely, my children. So he was that type of person. So he scolded Swami Brahmananda, how much he loved Swami Brahmananda. And when he saw Brahmananda was crying, he himself went and he started crying. You see what I have done, this thing to you, our Lord Thakur Sri Ramakrishna never uttered a harsh word, and I said something that you made cry. I am not. Oh, then Brahmananda had said, I am not fit to remain in the monastery, I should leave because I am not able to work properly for the monastery, some estimate was not given rightly. So I am not fit to remain, so let me go away. Swami Vivekananda clasped him and says, no, you are very fit to remain. I am not fit to remain here. I should leave the monastery, Belur Math. Then Radha Maharaj clasped him and said, what are you saying? You are, Radha Maharaj said, Jyeshta Bhata Vidussama. He did pranam to Swami Vivekananda. They were together. The elder brother is like father. How can you think of going away from us? You are the soul of the Belur Math. So then Swami Vivekananda in turn makes pranam to Radha Maharaj, that again said that just a bhrata pitusama, like you are the son of our Lord and you are like your father, something like that. Other brother disciples also had that type of love. Swami Mahapurush Maharaj used to get some milk. At the time in Belur Math there was very little milk. And he found his disciple and sevak Apurvanandaji was having fever. Then if he gives his own milk to him, he won't drink because it was for Swami Shivanandaji, Mahapurush Maharaj. So Shivanandaji once said, you please drink this milk. I don't want to drink milk and this is my order. You have to drink. He had not drank that milk. He had so much of love for that. Divine love. You find that the story of Philip Sidney, when an ordinary soldier was dying and there was little water brought for him, and when he saw another soldier beside him was dying, he said, give that to that person. He died in pain, in thirst, but wanted another ordinary soldier to die in little refreshingly. Swami Vivekananda's love for motherland, for country is well known. He could not sleep after he got the popularity at the Parliament of Religions. He was all crying whole night. He said, what is this popularity to me, this fame to me? My countrymen are suffering so much. And his pillow was soaked with tears. Josephine MacLeod asked him, he loved Swami Vivekananda very much. And he said, Swami Vivekananda is my friend. He said, Swamiji, what can I do for you? Swamiji said, if you want to do something for me, if you want to serve me, love India. Sister Christine has reminisced that when Swami Vivekananda, whenever he uttered the word India, this very word, his voice contained all love from his heart for the country. His love, Mahatma Gandhi said, after I read Swami Vivekananda's love for India, my own love for India increased 1,000-fold. Nivedita said, Swami Vivekananda was Mother India in flesh and blood. He was one with his country. He could never hear anything ill against his own country, India. Once, while he was going back to India, two missionaries were there, they were talking something against Swami Vivekananda and all that. Personal, if anyone said anything personal against him, he always forgave. He didn't take care. Those after saying something about him, they started saying something about India and Indian culture. Swami Vivekananda immediately went to them, caught the collar of one and said, if you utter another word against my country and my culture, you are in the deep sea. I'll throw you. seeing this robust face of Swamiji, and then he stopped and slowly went down back into the cabins from the deck. That was his love for India. Before coming to the West, when Swami Turiyananda met him, he said, I don't know anything of religion, Hari Bhai, but my heart has enlarged. My heart, I have begun to feel for others. The love for all countrymen. That was his love. He said, do you want to become patriot? Do you want to love your country? Does the problem of your country make you sleepless? Does your head reel? Do you stop eating? Can't you feel eating? That is the first step to become patriot, to become a lover of the country. And Swami Vivekananda himself was that, how much he loved his country. And in his poem about my friend, that he said the glory of love, divine love, how it is highest. Shankaracharya also said, the love is the highest spiritual practice. And what is that love? Shankaracharya said, Swaswarupanusandhanam bhakti-ditya vidiyate. Bhakti is divine love. Trying to know our own real nature of ourselves is devotion, is love. In fact, love is the thing which binds together, unifies together, makes all together oneness. To come to oneness is love. And when we can really feel oneness, then we have to make the love, divine love. And let me read at the end from Swamiji that poem. Listen, friend, I will speak my heart to thee. I have found in my life this truth supreme. Buffeted by waves, in this world of life, there is one ferry that takes across the sea. What is that ferry? Formula for sheep, control of breath, science, philosophy, systems vary, relinquishment, possession, and the like. All these are but delusions of the mind. All spiritual practices, all such of God, are delusions of mind. Love, love. That's the one thing, the soul treasure. That is the ferry which will take us across this ocean of samsara. In Jiva and Brahman, in man and God, in ghosts and wraiths, and spirits and so forth, in devas, beasts, birds and insects, and in worms, this prema dwells in the heart of them all. Everyone understands the language of love. Let go your vain reliance on knowledge. Let go your prayers, offerings and strength. For love selfless is the only resource. From the highest Brahman to the yonder worm, and to the very minutest atom, everywhere is the same God, the all-loved. Friend, offer mind, soul, body at their feet. When we will be able to love everyone like God, we'll be able to see God in everyone, then we'll be having transform our human love into the divine love. That will make us pure and reach the goal. Thank you.